we're about to have this conversation. I think is really like a very very explosive conversation when I think about it. Um, this conversation, man, is based on not asking questions you don't want the answer to. Everybody, hold on, let me start this over. Let me do this correctly. Welcome to the Look Live. I'm your host with the most, like butter on your breakfast toast. My name is Scrap. I'm in the ATL where the players dwell. And let me help you understand something. This is the Look Live, and we base the conversation off of small clips that I post on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram channel, and sometimes on my TikTok channel that are just different little observations, right? And the difference is some people just look at it as, what it is or whatnot. But I like to dive into these situations because it's always bigger than what it seems. It's always deeper than the post itself. There's always something to communicate about it on several different levels, right? So with this particular conversation, I'll play you the clip, and let me make sure that you guys can hear this clip. I'm gonna play it. Let me Bluetooth it to my Bluetooth it here because I really want you guys to hear this. And I don't want no problems, man. What Chance the Rapper said. I don't want no problems, man. When you join my live on YouTube or whatnot, make sure you guys make sure you guys are participating by hitting the like button and the share button. Those are two powerful buttons that I want you guys to get used to using, the like and the share. We are live on YouTube right now. Normally I only put the look live out there for you guys, but today we're doing something a little different. Let me see, this is the Bluetooth. Yep.
You love me.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this for you guys that are on TikTok. You guys will be able to hear it on YouTube and Instagram and all those different places. But I'm also gonna play the video so you guys can see the video and you can see how stoic he was when he said this. This is the look live, and again, don't learn not to ask questions you don't want the answers to. Check this out.
So, me and you've been in a relationship for some time now, and I just gotta ask, how do you know you love me?
You don't want the answer to that.
Yes, I do.
No, but like you really don't. And you know I'm the type of person I'm always gonna tell you the truth no matter what.
Right.
And you don't want the answer to that.
I want the honest, truthful answer to
No,
this.
I promise you, like if I tell you the answer, you might not, we might break up.
I want the answer.
You sure? No, like you sure? Like I'm really giving you the chance to back out of this. Are you sure? 100% positive. This is what you want.
I am 100% sure I want the answer.
Your pussy is trash. Your pussy is trash. Your pussy is trash. And I didn't care. That's how I knew I really was in love with you.
Wow.
All right. I'm gonna play this clip again for my people that are on all my other streaming sites. Check this out, man.
Okay, so me and you've been in a relationship for some time now, and I just gotta ask,
Oh wait.
how do you know you love me?
You don't want the answer to that.
Yes, I do.
No, but
I
like,
have
you
I
really
haven't
don't.
muted.
And
One
you know
second.
I'm the type of person I'm
Let me
always
start
gonna
this
tell you
clip
the
over.
truth.
Okay, so me and you've been in a relationship for some time.
Okay, technical difficulties. Give me 1 second, because this should be playing right now, and it is not. Is it a volume thing? It might be a volume thing. Let me see.
Now, and I just gotta ask, how do
And
you
I
know you
believe
love
it
me?
is, but let me fix something. I see what
You
the
don't want
problem
the
is.
answer to that.
I want you guys
Yes,
to
I
hear
do.
this.
No, but
That are
like you
the
really
people that
don't.
are
And
on
you
my
know I'm the type of person I'm always gonna tell you the
that are
truth
on
no
my
matter what.
Right.
other
And you don't
streams.
want
Y'all
the
gotta hear
answer to
this.
that.
I want the honest, truthful answer to
No, I
this.
promise you, like if I tell you the answer, you might not, we might break up.
Okay, so me and you've been in a relationship for some time now, and I just gotta ask, how do you know you love me?
You don't want the answer to that.
Yes, I do.
No, but like you really don't. And you know I'm the type of person I'm always gonna tell you the truth no matter what.
Right.
And you don't want the answer to that.
I want the honest, truthful answer to
No,
this.
I promise you, like if I tell you the answer, you might not, we might break up.
I want the answer.
You sure? No, like you sure? Like I'm really giving you the chance to back out of this. Are you sure? 100% positive. This is what you want.
I am 100% sure I want the answer.
Your pussy is trash. Your pussy is trash. Pussy is trash. And I didn't care. That's how I knew I really was in love with you.
Wow.
Wow. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Did you hear what he said to her? Wow. He said, because your kitty cat was trash. Come on, man. Come on, man. Because your kitty cat was trash. Ladies, has anyone, or fellas for that matter, has anyone ever said to y'all something that was that shocking? Did you ever not heed a person's warning where they said, "No, you don't want to do that," or "You don't want to hear that," and had a positive result? Like, I'm sure she didn't see or think this was coming a mile away. I don't. Sweet on TikTok says, "Why did they air that?" I don't. I think again, everything is content, negative or positive, no matter how some of these people see themselves. It's all content, right? And this honestly, it is a great piece of context for conversation. That's for sure. As I'm sure this clip has gone several times viral. Uh, uh, I don't know why she posted it. Would I have posted something as damaging to my ego or personality as she did? Absolutely not. But you know what I mean? You again, you can't I can't ascertain why anybody posts half of the things that we see on the internet. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, man, y'all probably should have what did Cat Williams say? He said, I don't think I would have told that story. You know what I mean? Um, but in that, there's a lot to be said about that, right? He says to her, that's how understand the content, the understand the reverse, like the backhand slap it kind of is. He says, well, she asked the question, how do you know you love me? And instead of saying the usual rhetoric that most people say, they rattle off a bunch of positive things. Um, this is like a backhand positive thing, right? For him to say, because I'm doing without something that I enjoy a certain kind of way, that's how I know I love you because I'm still with you in spite of. That's a very, very huge dynamic to approach a relationship. Is that and but it's a very noble, it's a very like 60s and 70s kind of thing, if you ask me. For a guy to say I'm still with you despite these things that are missing, it goes back to the conversation that we were having almost a week ago, where the young lady it was where women were saying 80% was not enough, that 80% was challenging, you know what I mean? um let's do that. Let's do this. Yeah, Peg, look at that. Vintage says on Instagram says because it needs to be aired is why they did that. You know what I'm saying? Why she posted it. Uh, but it's a reflection, right? That I think it is a term of love for him to say, even though intimacy is off, I'm still with you because I love you. Now, would I want that to be improved? Do I want to change that? Absolutely. And maybe this is her notification that she'll do that. What up, Juicy? Maybe this is the opportunity for her to for her to adjust it or make a change. Right now, having this conversation, I think it opens room for people to have a dialogue. What's up, baby girl? I think it leaves room for a dialogue. So, Juicy, the guy says, the girl asks the guy, Juicy, listen to this. The girl says, how do you know you love me? And I know you've probably seen this clip, but she says, how do you know you love me? And he hesitates to tell her. He knows her. He knows how fragile her ego is. And he's trying to spare her. He says, hey, what up, Bill to last? He says, hey, I don't want to say it. And she kind of eggs him on. Now, ladies, how often, or just people in general, how often do we not pay attention to those red flags? How often do we just run them over? How often do we just say, I'm gonna do it my way? What's up, Becca? How many times do we just get into it and we just decide that, even though I should pump the brakes and just heed your warning at this point? I mean, many people listen, people have been through some things. Think about this. A lot of people get in domestic violence situations because somebody keeps pressing the issue. Had people be unalived because they press the issue, and I think that there are times where you need to pump the brakes and say, "I'm cool. I probably don't want to know," and you're probably right. And if she knows him and respects him, she probably would have laid, took her foot off the gas. You know what I'm saying? And he was trying to push the brakes for her so she would understand, and she decided not to. Now, what we have is somebody who says, I know you, and this is a lot of cases in relationships. I know you, and I know you're not going to handle this well. He said, we're probably going to break up after this. Everybody taps and roses, everybody gifts, everybody on hit the like button on YouTube and everywhere else. So as this goes on, he tells her, I know I love you because I would not do this with or for anyone else. Basically, that's basically what he's saying. He's saying because the intimacy piece is the weakest link, it's not strong enough, or it doesn't weigh in more than these other attributes that you do have and that I do love. And this is the reason. So she may hold it in high regard. That's probably why he said it. It's like you probably think you out here doing something. You probably think you out here, you know what I'm saying? Putting it on me. But let me reassure you, that's not it. As far as I know, Peg, look at that on Vintage on Instagram asks, did they stay together? I'm not sure. We don't know the outcome or the fallout of the situation. Honestly, I think part of it, to everybody else's point, it may have been staged, right? And I'm okay with staged content because it can and will provoke a conversation if it's great content. This was great. The way it was done, you saw the video. He was sitting in the car, you know what I'm saying, and it was they did it in black and white. It was a very dramatic moment. They slowed down the reveal is what we call that. They slowed down the reveal, and he was like, "Your money is trash, trash, trash." I know it was done for effect. It worked out perfect. You know what I'm saying? It was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody expected that. At least I didn't. As a reason to how he knew he loved her. Like that is one of those like that. You don't expect to hear a backhand slap because that's what it was to me. I felt like um he was very brutal with it too. I guess I mean he set it up like that, right? He said like I'm very honest and straightforward with you. I don't beat around the bush. So I know me knowing you, you don't want to know the answer to this. And she said, "No, I do." And we run into this dynamic where women are tough. It's oh no, better yet, it's like the analogy that Mike Tyson has. Mike Tyson said, "Everybody's a tough guy till they get hit." And that's how a lot of these things happen with young ladies who have a certain kind of bravado that they bring to the table and energy that they bring to the table. And then when that energy is met with the same energy or greater, then they adjust. Then they flip. Then it's something else. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes an emotional moment. There's not a man that I know that hasn't experienced a girl being tough or whatever and being all rah-rah and then his light switch turns on of being the masculine energy in the relationship, and then she goes back to her feminine energy and starts crying and starts being the submissive or in that other energy that probably would have saved that whole interaction. You know what I mean? She was stunned after he said that, and I'm sure she dialed herself back and was like, "I really didn't need to know that. I probably shouldn't have pressed him on that." You know what I'm saying? And it would have been very mature of her from that point to evaluate her relationship from that particular aspect, not everything else. Because here's the real dynamic in relationships: is people sometimes hear what they want to hear on the negative side of things. Like I don't know, unfortunately, people don't look at the positive attributes to a conversation and pull those away. They always pull the negative stuff. Like you can remember all the negative stuff that has been said to you more than you could, and you champion the negative stuff more than you champion the positive stuff. Yeah, sweet on TikTok, that must have hurt, but he warned her repeatedly though. Exactly. She asked for him. He's telling her, "I'm about to rip this band-aid off, and I'm not sure if you're gonna be ready for it. But if you keep asking, brace yourself." You know what I mean? And from there, if so the analogy is when you rip the band-aid off, expose the sore to natural air or whatnot, it can heal itself. Hopefully that's what would have happened in this situation. He would have done that. What up, Michaela? He would have taken that band-aid off and he would have said to her, "Hey man, let's figure it out." Because that's one of those things that can be adjusted. What up, Tanya? What up, Can Rock? Those things can be adjusted. There are certain things that can be amended. If he said that it was trash, then he has to also look at his input into it. Because I know women and your bodies are responsive, they're reactive. You know what I mean? So if I do certain things, your body should or most times will respond to it. And if he's not doing those things, then he's part to blame as well. And I know that's an aspect that uh that again, this piece of content leads to that conversation is what is a man's responsibility in making sure a woman is prepped and ready for the intimacy that we're looking for. And I can tell you pride comes in the way, past arguments come into the way. There are people who haven't been intimate with their mate or whatnot for a long time based off the things that have happened in the past, based off of issues that they still are carrying, but nobody talks about. And two stubborn people is just a horrible, it's a horrible experience for that aspect. And you guys keep hearing me say that aspect because people want to take a paintbrush and paint everything with that with the stroke of that paintbrush versus saying, no, let me this is fine and detailed. Let me take a smaller paintbrush and just outline the parts that we're talking about. Because when you don't do that, you actually bring other things into the mix that don't benefit the goal, the thing that you're actually discussing or arguing. How many times have y'all gotten into an argument about one thing and then because y'all didn't keep it there, it went to so many other things? And the so many other things only are present because you felt some way about the one thing. You know what I mean? Um, Can Rockin on Instagram said, "Sex as a weapon is dangerous." I mean, s- sex as a controlling mechanism, Can Rock, is absolutely insidious. It's wrong. It is just bad. You know what I'm saying? No one should present that as a position to hold when it comes to interaction with somebody else. One of the delights of being in a relationship is that kind of intimacy. I mean, a lot of people want mental uh, and emotional relationship and forget that the physical is just as strong if not stronger, or it should what they say is that the physical relationship should support a great mental and emotional relationship, and without the physical, the mental and emotional relationship part of it suffers because the bonding of two people, and it's a powerful bond. If y'all have not had sex, let me tell you. For those of you who have not had sex, who have never had sex before, let me just tell you all, the bonding is powerful. It is so powerful that men have killed, countries have conquered. There have been many major disasters, many major accomplishments, many major uh triumphs because of good and great intimacy. And I'm saying on all levels, physical, mental. So the physical can promote and assist in the mental and emotional side of it. We already know that. But the emotional side is the one that makes everything reactive. So yeah, you know what they say, women who getting the D on a regular and getting D down, their mannerism and their behavior is different than a woman who's not getting that and still having to interact with that individual. That is the challenge. The challenge is, who are you without the intimacy? And some would say you should be a more powerful person without that intimacy in the relationship that you're going to be in. They say that should be a powerful connection that you have because religiously people say your connection should be with God first and then with the man next. You know what I'm saying? Or with the woman next. And from there, that lock and key measure should keep everything in place. But the physical is really, really, really a powerful mechanism because it has it has an element of pleasure that emotional and mental does not bring to the table. Like, although a mental connection and an emotional connection can yield the same pleasures as a physical relationship if you succumb to it. Like if you're super deep into the other person, I mean, you guys know there are people who have a pleasure point or pleasure moment without ever touching the other person. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, uh, it's the physical side of it that makes it a stronger connection. Touching somebody. That's why holding hands is important. Hugging people. Hugging people is extremely important. If you're with somebody and they come home from work, give them a warm embrace. That kind of helps them decompress from the workplace, which you don't know the highs and lows of working a 9 to 5. I'm sure they are tumultuous when you have to work for somebody else and adhere to their logic, which may not be yours, but because of the money and the check that you receive from it, you have to adhere to it. So I can only imagine the pressures that you're going through as a person who's in the workforce, dealing with different entities all day, whether it be a boss or somebody underneath you and having to interact with them. A hug releases a lot of that when people come home from work. So you should give them a nice, warm hug and let them know that this is a safe space and you could release all that tension and all that energy that you had to put in and that you were holding and that you were trying to, you know what I'm saying, maintain and keep yourself together with while you're at your job. And here's the thing, for those of you who are working 9 to 5s, you got to find a way to decompress when you're at your, while you're at the job. Like you got to find your moments so that you can keep your mental straight because that affects intimacy as well. You know what I'm saying? If her intimacy was trash, who knows all the things that it are contributing to that, let alone the man that she's in a relationship with. He seemed kind of cold and, you know what I'm saying, kind of distant or whatnot. And that could have a lot to do with it as well. And she may know in her mind, like, yo, I've been with other people who have never said this to me. And that's when the investigation should go on and she should go back and communicate with one of those people, be like, hey man, were you being completely honest with me when it came to intimacy, or were you know what I'm saying, were you tolerating me or were you enjoying me? You know what I'm saying? And that's a real question. I think people should evaluate past relationships and interactions so that you better know how to move forward. A lot of us don't do enough self analyzation. We don't look at what we've done and what we're doing and how we've interacted and then change. They look young. There can be different factors. Supposedly, it's him. And I said that sweet. I said that, and that's sweet on TikTok. And I said that sweet that yeah. He listen. If a woman's not getting to where she needs to be, usually it's because a man is not interacting with her the way that he needs to interact with her. And I mean that from a mental space, an intimate emotional space, and then a physical space. And we understand that most women don't want to give you the physical until you've captured. Listen, one thing that we know is you have to capture a woman's mind to capture her heart. And once you capture her heart, she'll give you anything, and she'll do it joyfully. She'll do it with vigor. You know what I mean? She'll want to get into it. Peg look at the vintage on Instagram said there's a big difference in intimacy and just sex. Absolutely. Intimacy is exactly what the word means. Intimate. It's closed in, it's small, it's you know what I'm saying? It's intimate, it's exclusive, it's intimacy it requires really diving into the person that you're with. Sex is just what it is. It's the act of doing, you know, of doing the things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are having sex, but very few people are being intimate. Intimate requires submission. To be intimate, it requires you to give in to the other person. And a lot of people are afraid to do that for the sake of, they've been hurt before, giving that intimacy or adding that intimacy level to past relationships. And so you kind of got to know these things. Like, I didn't know that there was a girl I dated. I didn't know that she had a past trauma that was causing her to not want to be as intimate. And the crazy part was, of course, I've got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a conversation that's widely put out there when you're in the courting stage. How often do you say, "Hey, have you been through anything, sexually that may prohibit you from being intimate with me to your fullest?" have you ever had that conversation in your lead up to, you know what I'm saying, meeting, or I mean, getting to know somebody? Like, how many people actually dive in and say, what kind of intimacy traumas are you healing from? Have you healed from? Or are you dealing with, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a conversation that's popular. Albeit it should be one in everybody's conversation when you're deciding whether you're going to invite this person into your intimate space. I absolutely believe that you should be considering a person's past. I know people be like, we don't need to talk about my past. No, we do. I need to know what level you was on and what your contribution was to the success or failure of past relationships. I need your resume to some degree. You know what I mean? I need to know what you've been through, what you've managed to persevere through. You know what I'm saying? I need to know what it is that make so right now I know I like you. I know that there's something drawing me to you. I want to exploit the hell out of that, but I don't want to exploit it so much that I miss seeing these signs that I should be giving pause to. No, real talk, sweet, sweet laughing because she said I need a resume. But you should, right? Not in the first conversation, not in the second conversation, and even not in the third conversation you have with a person. But after that third conversation, after we've decided, or once we're convinced that we are really attracted to one another, that we really like each other, before I get to the point where I could potentially see myself with you exclusively or anything like that, I gotta have the resume. Who's the last guy you dated that you were passionate about? And what was it that you were passionate about and why didn't it work out? Because that's a real question. If you like this guy, if you love this guy, or it was one of those moments, why didn't y'all work out? Whose fault was it? Where was the lack? You know what I mean? Where's the lack in contribution on somebody's part? Who wouldn't give in? These are the things. How quickly did you decide? Like, these things all matter. Like, these things absolutely matter in the context of how you move forward in your relationship. Because if you don't know enough about a person's past, how can you ever decide to listen? I got a clip. Woo-hoo-hoo. The clip I'm gonna show y'all. So the next clip, y'all know how I like to tie these clips together. The next clip is going to blow your minds. It's a clip where an Asian man divorced his wife because they had ugly kids. All right. Now, in reference to knowing someone's past and their resume, this is where this is paramount. The woman, prior to meeting him, had a ton of cosmetic surgery done to not look like her ugly self. So he said, how can a beautiful woman like you and a handsome man like me bear these ugly children? What it was the children had the traits of the mother prior to. So that's one thing that plastic surgery cannot change. It cannot change your genetics. So these children look more like the mommy that was pre-surgery. What up, Arjizzle? She looked like the mommy pre-surgery. And let me tell you, when I show you the video, you're gonna be like, wow. Cause you can see they don't look like him. They do not look like him. You know what I'm saying? They don't look like him. But it leads into that. Knowing a person's past is paramount. You have to know where somebody's came from. You have to discuss where they think they want to go. No, he divorced her and they awarded him he sued her. And they awarded him the money for that. What up, Melinda? Yes. And I think that's a real thing. Like, I'm not even mad at him. Yo, you can't do that. Like, he should have seen old pictures of her and made a decision from there. Melinda, I tell y'all, the next clip I put up is gonna be fire. This one was fire as well, where the guy said the girl's ill nana, her kitty cat was trash. But I'm just telling y'all, it was bad. Like the kids, I'm sorry, the kids and the mama, this was a Korean couple, man. Oh my God. Uh yeah, you gotta ask the right questions. You gotta do your history. Um, but in this day and age, there should be no one that doesn't have a historical account of their lives or who they were through pictures, point blank, period. So a lot of us don't do that. Many of you scroll through Instagram and stuff to check out somebody's old pictures and their old demeanor and their old swag and whatnot. But you absolutely is that defamation of your DNA. It was defamation of character. I think that's what he sued her for not being who she said she was. But you should we know everybody has pictures. You got to go back and look at those pictures. Like you have to go back and look at those pictures. I'm sorry. And you have to have a discussion about it. Who were you then? Where was your head at if you wore something crazy, if you wore something or you know what I'm saying, if there was something adverse to your past, which we all got something like that. We all got something, where you be like, maybe not as wild as others, you know what I'm saying, but you got to have that. I saw a black and white couple that happened with on the Judge Show. Yeah, if sweet. If you don't have a historical context of the person that you're with, I don't know how you could see a future with them. Even though in their present condition you're happy with it. That can't be it. You know what I'm saying? That's why the past, the present, and the future means something. You can't make future plans with someone who you don't know who they were in the past. And this is where you find those cases where like, yeah, he was just released from prison and he never told her, or he was, you know what I'm saying? Y'all hear these cases of people who find themselves in very compromising positions because they don't know the history of the person that they're dealing with. That person, I have a policy, right? Um, I need to know everything. I need to know about your past relationship. I just do. I'm sorry. I gotta know. I need to know, historically what your contribution was. I have a red flag thing, man, for hearing on one side of that story. When somebody says when hollering at girls and they be like, yeah, I was this, that, and he was, and she don't say what she did. If she don't say her involvement, I'd be like, were you in the relationship? Because it sounds like he did all the whatever and you didn't do nothing. Because I don't hear your response to what he did. I don't hear your interaction of what he did. All I hear is what he did. He cheated on me and da da da. Well, not that saying that there's a reason why people cheat, but what was going on in the relationship at the time that he cheated? I'm not, like Dave Chappelle says, he's a victim blamer. I'm not a victim blamer, but you got to explain yourself. I'm just not accepting a lot of the BS that people like to put out there and leave untold stories. I want to know it all. What up, God Squad? If I don't know it all, then you're leaving something out, and I'm going to miss it, and it may be something I have to deal with in the future. You can't make future plans with people you don't know their past. So it's paramount you do that. You know, even in a relationship like this, here's the dynamic, right? And nobody likes this stuff, but it's most stories are one sided. Sweet. Very very seldom do you hear people accepting their contribution to the failure of a relationship. You have to be strong enough to accept what your contribution was to your failures just as confidently as you are when things are a success. People want to brag when it's a success. Nobody wants to say, "Yeah, man, it was me." Nah, it was me. I know. I drove her away, man. I did these things and da 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 da. So it was me. I could have done this better. I could have done that better. You know what I'm saying? What up, Felicia? We're not getting those conversations, and they're not put in context to where people can really own up to those moments so that they can have breakthroughs emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Um, all these things that we go through are so that you can become. It's like if you saw one of those pie charts, right? And as you deal with things, the pie chart shifts and changes to reflect the adjustments that you made in your life to become a whole pie. That's what it should be about. Some of you are deficient in certain areas and you don't even recognize it or let it represent a space on your pie wheel. And it should. Like uh when people don't include things that are serious, it challenges the small things too. Your pie wheel should show I'm successful here, I'm deficient here, I'm growing here. It should show these things. You're not going to get that in the first three conversations. First three conversations should be the night that you meet. You should be able to talk to that person and kick it. No personal questions. I don't want to know nothing about you personally that I'm supposed to retain or keep, especially in that first moment when I'm just admiring how physically, attracted to you I am, how this environment that we're in is cool, how the energy is on point. That's it. That's it. I don't need to know nothing personal about you yet because I don't know if I want to be personal with you that way. A lot of people try to throw all that personal information out there, let somebody know that they're safe, that they're cool, and that, if you want to kick it tonight, we could do that. Um, and that's why they throw that stuff out there. I'll tell you right now, you don't need to throw all your personal information out there. You just need to buy more drinks. You just need to buy more drinks. All right. The energy that's represented between you and another person when you first meet them, that should be the energy that gives you license to do whatever you decide to do. Whether you decide to kiss them, whether you decide to dance with them some more, whether you decide to stay at the bar with them, whether you decide to go home with them, the energy that is represented in that space should be the decision maker. Now, the second time that you go out should be in a space where it's just you and that other person, and there's not a lot of distractions. It should be a dinner. You should go out to eat and check out the way a person consumes their food and and converses or whatnot, and and how they enjoy the atmosphere or whatever. Take them somewhere nice, not somewhere shabby, but somewhere where you can have a good conversation and just talk about life and world issues. I don't want to know what job you got. You're not gonna can give me no money. I don't want to know the traumas you've been through. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not a therapist yet. I don't even know if I want to be a therapist for you yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to be a soundboard for you. You know what I'm saying? What up, Pierre? My guy, good to see you. Pierre's checking in over from Facebook. Always good to see family. What up, Nicole? Checking in over here on TikTok. Yeah, I don't want to know all those things about you right away. I need to just be in an environment with you, and I just need to be able to talk about life. You know what I'm saying? Things that aren't personal, but about life. Hey, what do you think about the presidency? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you watch sports or da da. I would flip all the channels. What's your favorite sitcom? You know what I'm saying? What's the most funny? What's the last movie you went to go see? And how was it? You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Felicia says if he says he loves Trump, I'm out. I don't think it should be based on that, but yes, so some people it is where you want to have political views that are aligned. I would say stay away from that a little bit as well because it's very touchy. And until you can have a full conversation based off of the rationale of the person that you're with, I don't think you should talk politics. Like for somebody that you like, just understand if you like them enough to even hear them out because politics is a fickle mistress. Uh, or religion. Yep, religion is a fickle mistress. Although if I had Dara in this live right now, Dara gonna tell you right now, listen, I need to know if you Christian off rip. If you ain't Christian, I'm not, I don't even need to be holding this conversation. I will tell you that much that there are uh and I'm sorry, um I can't say that with all religions because I think Christians more so are the ones who will stand like, you know what I mean, be very defensive about it. I think Muslims are more inviting because they know that people don't know enough about their religion, you know what I'm saying? Um if Felicia says on Instagram, what if he insists on praying? Allow him to pray. Listen, you should never deny a person to access their God in your presence. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't be annoyed by it. Honestly, I sometimes I ask, I'd be like, hey, do you pray? And if they say no, I say, okay, give me a second. Cause this may be my last meal, and I want to make sure I'm good with God before I finish this meal. If that's an important factor, it should be mentioned so we can go our separate ways. True story. But again, and I was having this conversation with Dara. If you go back and watch 2 episodes ago, on the Look Live, you'll hear me say, you never know why God has you in a position in somebody's life. And if you just go your separate way, you don't know if you were a vehicle or a vessel for that person to be led to Christ or to be led in the direction that God wants them to be led in. You may just be a bridge. And sometimes I think people forget that every person ain't for you in that way that you want them to be for you. Some people turn out to be great friends instead of great people in relationships. Some people become great counselors or mentors or people that you can talk to that just have a really great perspective. But you have to first say, why am I even at this table with this person? And you got to go back to the initial thing. There's something about this person that out of all the people that were in that club or in that area that attracted me to this person. You got to give your spirit time to work. You got to give your frequency time to align itself. No, 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 sweet. it's only some people you wish you never met. I understand, and that's a part where you supposed to have the discernment to know you got to stick and move. You may be the bridge for somebody to cross, but you don't have to be the street for them to travel down further. You may not be the highway, but you may be the bridge for them to cross over, and that's all you have to do. Anything other than that is usually a personal thing that we do. We don't pray for the discernment to say, should this person still be in my life? And especially when the first red flag comes up, you've done your part after that. There shouldn't be anyone that you say, I wish I never met. There should be people that you should be saying, I'm glad I got out of there when I did. And you should only be extending yourself to the point and place that you're comfortable. I mean, I understand that there absolutely is, but it's usually because we've gotten too complacent in those situations, and we've overstayed our welcome in somebody else's life, and we've given ourselves a position that we shouldn't truly take in somebody's life that can't reciprocate, understand, or comprehend what you're supposed to mean to them. And that's when you have to say, "I'm good, thank you," and the line, and this is where this is where you'll stay at, and this is where I'll stay at. Yeah. So again, that's one of those things that if you don't know a person's past, I don't know how you can move to their future. And I know it's not something that people will tell you, sweet. It's not something that'll come out, but you got to say, I would have to say to you, so this person showed no signs of that physical violence, and there was nobody else to alert you of that. The mother never told you, family friends never told you. Like that can't be the secret that he got to keep that nobody told. I gotta ask the question. So that leads me to the third date, right? Remember, I told y'all there's three. The third time you go out with a person, you should be surrounded by his friends on one side of it, and then the other side of it should be your friends. Meaning, so it's like two dates. I need to take you around my friends so you can see I've been the same person with them who've been in my life longer, the same way I'm being with you. I'm being the same way. You know what I'm saying? You and I are the same way. If I get around your friends and your girlfriends be like, "Girl, why you being all funny now that he here?" That's a red flag for me because you're not being yourself. You're not being who you're supposed to be for me. You're showing me one thing and and your friends are evidently saying it was something different. Yeah, that's how Sweet said I was young and dumb. Off the plane, meet him for a few months later. I was green. I think there's a whole lot to that. We can unpack that one day if you want, Sweet. We can get online. You could join me live and we can unpack that because it sounds like an interesting story, definitely a learning lesson or whatnot. But definitely something that I'm sure somebody else will benefit from your story who's probably in your situation right now or about to get into a situation blindly and not know what to look for. So that'd be awesome. And that's another reason why I do these lives and the interaction that I enjoy from you all is because we all have stories, we all have lessons, we all have triumphs, we all have things that we, wish we could have done better. That you may be a tipping point for somebody else to say, I'm in that same position, man. Let me listen to see what they did to, and how the similarities in our situation are so that I can maneuver better. Yeah, yeah. Sweet Sweat, I'm sure I missed some red flags. I did meet his mom 2 years later. There was an incident. Yeah. That and the mother has a responsibility. I'm sorry, like that whole thing was orchestrated wrong because the mother should have told you at some point. She should have pulled your coattail and said, I don't know if you really know what you're getting into. He's physical with me. And unfortunately, uh her not doing that would pronounce the trauma that she's gone through in her life. The fact that she didn't warn you, the fact that she didn't tell you and be honest with you about her son is just deplorable as a parent. Um, because she should have said what a great parent would have said is that my kid is, be careful. That's what she should have said. And then let you explore the be careful part. What do you mean by be careful? Why your mama tell me to be careful? What's going on with you? Yeah, but you got to remember, albeit, yes, these are somebody's kids, but these are also human beings. More, it's the moral correct thing to do. Juicy on TikTok said, "Why would she do that? Because at the end of the day, that's still her son." What up, Coach Jay? But yeah, you've heard of situations where mothers have turned their sons in because they want their sons to get the kind of correction that they need. Clearly, the mother wasn't able to do it, so you have to seek outside help. You have to go outside of the construct that has been failing you so far. And this is where we mix things up, is that we don't step outside of ourselves or our comfort zone to get what we need to help us stay or improve our comfort zone. We'd rather just keep going down this, we keep dealing with it like we got this. When they say it takes a village to raise a family, they don't mean the village stops at the when you turn 18. You still have those same wise people around you. Yeah, Sweet said it was toxic. I had to walk away, blocked, and moved. Yeah, absolutely. You have to do that. Erase the numbers, make sure there's no way for these people to get in contact with you when you find out they are extremely toxic. When you got crazy folks, man, you just get away from it because we can't account. None of us are counselors to the point where we understand just how crazy some people are or potentially can be. All we know is they've hit the red alert button in your life, and so something different has to happen on your part. What up, Shy? What up, Ansari? Like you got to do something different in those situations. I see. She said I've had 4 flat tires. I understand. Y'all got to understand. This sounds so crazy to me. I've not had a desire to do anything malicious to a woman or her things, or even a dude for that matter. Like I ain't never been like, yo, let me just go out of my way to do some ill stuff. Most of the stuff I do has been to protect myself or a reaction to something that's happening in the moment, but never. I can't recall a time in my life where I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna drive by and bust out windows," or "I'm gonna go do some." And with that, these are the conversations y'all need to be having when y'all are playing phone tag and stuff. Hey, have you ever busted out somebody's window and listen to how they justify it? You have to be a therapist in the beginning. You have to be a therapist. You have to act as an employer at the beginning. When you're getting into a relationship, you got to say, "Let me ask these types of questions." You know how they don't ask you direct questions, but they do a mental assessment of you. You know what I mean? Try to set your apartment on fire. Like, listen, whatever you gave him, Felicia, don't give it to nobody else. Hey, listen, hey, listen, that's what some of us know this, right? Most men know that you can't be beating the brakes off of every girl, period. Men will tell you that. Real men who get it, you cannot beat the brakes off every woman. I'm sorry. Um, Sweet said, so when I said I wish I never met, I had some bad experiences when I first got here. I didn't know. But no, see what you don't realize, why you can't say I regret or I wish I never did this, is because you grew from it. And he was light work in comparison to what really could have been out there for you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to take that like you won. The fact that you got out of there unharmed, and you're well, and you have the mindset that you do. You won that. You know what I'm saying? And it set you up and got you prepared for the things that were coming to your life in the future. So you got to look at that. And yes, you Scorpios are crazy. I dated a Scorpio once. She actually moved from Las Vegas to be with me here in Atlanta, and that was a bit much. No, I'm not too positive. I just have to look at it as the fact that I'm still alive, great health, and everything that the things that I've been through were for my building. You know what I mean? To shape me. I can't have this I can't get on this live and have these conversations with y'all, and I ain't been through nothing. That's why people say I need to follow a preacher whose God has delivered, who's been through some things. You know what I'm saying? Because he can relate to the people. I can relate to y'all because I've been through what you've been through, and I've got plenty of girlfriends who I'm the guy y'all talk to. I'm the guy who y'all run these scenarios by, and I keep you accountable. You may not want to hear it all the time, but I make sure that you stay accountable. Yeah. Y'all, listen, Scorpios, y'all are button nut crazy. That's what I do know. I don't think I should have put it on her the way that I did because she was going like it would just got crazy in there. I was like, yo, you got to move out of here. What up, Priscilla? I was like, you got to go. You can't be up in here. I don't do crazy. I don't do crazy at all. Like I'm gonna tell y'all right now, don't put your hands on me. I'm not that dude. Like I'm not gonna put my hands back on you, but you will never ever touch me again. Meaning I'm gonna let you out and you're not coming back in. I don't do that. I don't do that. You could say I'm not sensitive to words. Say what you want. Just don't touch me. You know what I mean? Just cause you mad don't make me mad. I am that person right there. I'm a Taurus Gemini. Just cause you mad, I don't get mad. It don't make me mad. Scorpios, y'all crazy because y'all emotions be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And when y'all really and because there are very few people who can truly understand and reciprocate to you, Scorpios, y'all cling to the ones that can. The oh man, I had the flu when I got back from overseas. Remember when I went to the Bahamas? I had this take drink plenty of Gatorade, get you some tea. Tea is always good, and drink soups. It'll be gone in no time. But yeah, very highly emotional individuals born in that the range of Scorpio. And so that was, I was cool after that. You know what I'm saying? Um, I was cool after that, and I realized. So as a Taurus Gemini, a cusp, I attract everybody because I'm on the cusp, right? It's the strongest connection to be in a communication with somebody else who's on the cusp. It just is what it is. Um, but for the most part, Cancers, Virgos, Pisces, um, are pretty solid. You know what I mean? Um, Gemini's, you know, we get along too. They're the wild bunch. What up, Norma? They're the wild bunch. They keep things spicy because they're so indecisive and they're all over the place. Scorpios are uh, highly interactive when it comes to physical attraction. Right? Like that's the wild bunch. You know what I mean? The wild bunch. And then, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Leos, Libras. Um, I mean, I don't really do a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? I haven't run into those individuals to interact with them like that. So I don't have a recollection of that. And then Aries are, they're cool. Aries are cool too. But knowing yourself is probably the greatest attribute you could bring to any of these relationships. And in the clip that I played, they both kind of knew each other. No, I didn't. I ain't ignoring your comment because y'all Scorpios are crazy. She gonna say we the best. Yeah, DJ Khaled. Listen. um, I'm just very mindful of those things, and those that are self aware. What you will notice with every sign, they give you guys the credit for who you actually are, and then they say these are the things that will help balance you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, um, certain relationships help balance each other, and you can have a harmonious existence together. Like Scorpios and Tauruses can work well because we give each other the space that we need, and Tauruses will follow Scorpios if Scorpios lead well. I worked with a Scorpio and had tremendous success because we gave each other the space that we needed for him to do what he needed to do, for me to do what I needed to do work wise, and it was a fruitful relationship. It was um, when his dominance, when he wanted to, be like, yo, this is my show type shit. I was like, yo, respectfully, I'm here because you needed a sous chef to your being the top chef. But don't think that as a sous chef, I couldn't be a top chef. You know what I mean? Um, so that was kind of the conflict that we had. It was like two cooks in the kitchen that respected each other until people started recognizing what I was doing as and more. And this person was way more accomplished than me, and I really respected that about him. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of what you'll find is a lot of creatives that are at the top of the business side of things are Scorpios. Scorpios are good business people to be involved with, especially with creative people. Creative people can learn and elevate a lot the with Scorpios who are very business minded. I will give you that. They keep their eye on the money. and you know what I'm saying? Definitely that. So, this conversation was supposed to happen tomorrow night. Usually we do the look live, which I'm live on YouTube right now. We usually do that on a Friday night. I just got plans tomorrow night and Saturday night that are going to prohibit me from doing this then, so I did it a day early. But I think it's going to allow us to have this dialogue and conversation a bit more when it comes to not asking questions you don't want the answer to. Can any of you guys recall a time where you asked something that you wish you had kept your mouth shut about? It could be anything. Have you ever just openly said something? You was like, "Why did I say that? I should have never even." You know what I mean? Any of y'all experienced that where uh, something that could have, and I said this to somebody the other day. I said that comment could have lived forever in your own head. You know what I'm saying? Felicia said she asked, "Do I look fat?" Yep, that's one of those questions that, you know what I mean? You don't really want the answer to that. You know what I mean? Sweet said, I got stories for you. Well, yeah, well, we want to hear them. Yeah, though there are certain questions you shouldn't ask. You know what I mean? Especially if it's not gonna change immediately. Like don't ask me anything that I'm listen, I'm an active listener and I'm and being an active listener means I'm processing when you communicate. Hey, how did this da 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 da? I'd be like, how long have you been thinking about that? And I hit you with a question back. Well, how do you feel? How do I look in this? Well, how do you feel? I feel good. Well, that's all that matters. See how I did that? The how much do you love me conversation. That's pretty simple. Every man knows uh that whatever you say has to be from the positive aspect. How much do you love me? Words can't describe. Look at that. See that? I was true to myself and true to you at the same time. Words can't describe how much I love you. You know, I'd have to move mountains in order to be able to tell you that. These ain't comebacks, sweet. I can't. You're not gonna trap me. That's what I'm telling you right now. Some men dare to answer questions that you've already got the answer to. I am not about to do that. I am not answering anything you already have the answer to. And now you want me to convince you differently of your answer? Oh no, 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 no. I can't win that battle. No, 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 no. You can't say what I'm lying. I'm not lying. That's the beauty of it, Felicia. It's the truth. It's the truth. When you ask me, how do I look in this dress? How do you feel in the dress? Well, I feel good. Well, shoot, that's all that matters. You shouldn't worry about. I'll give you the whole breakdown. You should, and I'm being honest, so it's not a lie, Natalie. And I will get by with that answer because it's nothing but the truth. God help me. I've got the truth. And if you don't like the answer at that point, then we change everything. If you don't like my answer, it's not. I said, well, you truly didn't want to hear from me. What up, Al? What up, Irby? Letitia, what's up? My YouTube family checking in. I see y'all. What's going on, y'all? Yeah, you don't want the answers. Wait, what was the question again, Natalie? How much do you love me? Words can't describe. That's not good enough for you. That means it's ginormous if you take it the right way. If I say it with a smile, I'll be like, words can't describe how much I love you. Let me just continue doing what I do on a daily basis, baby. Let me just show you. You ain't gonna take that? I'm gonna say words can't describe, but I'll continue showing you as if you get I'll continue showing you as long as you give me the opportunity to. What, girl? You better stop. What up, though? Yo, Al, I'm trying to tell them, I'm trying to show them the light. They don't understand that. I'm not gonna get trapped into a conversation that you've already had in your head 1,000 times. The clarity you seek comes from within, not from without. And I understand that. I had a girl ask me on a regular basis, what are we? What's going on with us? I said, my response would be, what do you think is going on with us? How do you feel about what's going on with us? Have I shown you something that would lead you to believe that what you think is going on with us isn't what is going on with us? I mean, I'm just not going. I am not allowing it. There, I wish I could write that book. I should write that book, Felicia, the book of answers for men. I should write that book, and it'll be a bestseller because a lot of it you've already heard, but men don't know how to put that in context in a way that a woman will not badger him for more after that. That's the whole key for me. The whole key for me is to say what needs to be said without having to say it 1,000 times. Y'all can do it right now. Go ahead and ask me some questions. Y'all think, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is chess, not checkers. Al said, I'm gonna put that up there. Al Irby said, this tell him this is chess, not checkers. I know it's a grammatical. We got that. And that is the truth. This is chess. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to, you've already thought about the moves you wanted to make conversationally. So everybody on Instagram is about to shut off because we've been on for a while. So Instagram, come over to the YouTube channel. I'll see y'all there. The realest thing I can tell you is I understand and respect the way that a woman thinks. I know that you have not come up with this brilliant question overnight. Not saying that you couldn't, but I know for the way that most women operate, y'all have this question has bounced around in y'all head for at least a week. And depending on the question, I'm the kind of guy who asks for a timeout. Hold on. How long have you had a chance to think about what you just asked me? Overnight? Can I get that overnight break, please? I need that same opportunity that you had for yourself to bring that table answer to the question. What up, bro? My brother's in the live. I'm like, yo, let me have the same amount of time you thought about it. Don't tell me you had 2 weeks, 3 weeks to think about it, because I want that same 2, 3 weeks. That's right. Think about it, sweet. How often do y'all engage in a conversation to which y'all have that it just popped up? That's how men work. Men work like that. We will say, we'll say what the first thing that came to my mind. Felicia said, "Scrap a player from the Himalayas." I might have been at one point. I might have learned some things. I think it's not about being a player, Felicia. I was just an active listener, and I understood the rules of engagement. Most men don't understand the rules of engagement. You have to listen to a woman. That's the first part. And most men don't actively listen to y'all when y'all talk because y'all be talking crazy. Y'all tell jokes that don't be funny. I know I'm gonna catch some flack for that, but y'all be telling jokes. I be like, come on, man, that was. I mean, it's just not in the DNA for a lot of people to be great storytellers, and I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it's about no, I'm not. I just what it is what's in you is in you, and typically it never leaves you. It's how you use that gift and that power. You know what I'm saying? Some people never use it, but I get an opportunity to share that with y'all when we talk on these lives. And so it's always refreshing itself. It's always being, you know what I'm saying? It's always being used. It's always being there. So even in this conversation that we're having right now, where the young man said that her ill nana was trash, he could have managed that differently. And at that point, he should have took it on himself. And here's a policy I have for especially for people who like announcing the problems that they have. When you bring an issue or problem to the table, you do understand that it has to change at that point because you've said it. I don't even know what you're talking about, Felicia. Y'all have said it out loud. What I mean by that is when you announce that there's an issue, you must be prepared to adjust. The fact that you announced the issue should not be the other person's job now to adjust because they didn't have the issue. And if they did, they didn't bring it up for it to be a concern. I know y'all don't like hearing that. Oh, you lagging and freezing up. Oh yeah. It was no, I'm down to 7% on my battery for this phone. But yeah, you have to it's a requirement. That's all. You lagging, freezing out camera. Yeah. Come on, man. I'm just saying that's what it is. You know what I mean? I know y'all don't want to hear that, but that's what it is. You have a requirement to make the adjustment. You do, first and foremost. If you're the person who's bringing up the problem, hopefully you've already tried to make the adjustment. If you haven't, why are you telling me? I'm the type of person that thinks like this. If you got a problem with the shoes being at the bottom of the steps and you complain about it, well, start picking them up and see if that doesn't change how you feel about it. Why are you telling me? I don't have a problem with the shoes being at the bottom steps. Do y'all get it? Like a lot of people say stuff to you because they want you to change. But that's the thing. Most men don't play. We don't offer up the games. I'm not trying to figure nothing out. I'm not trying to play a game at all. What I'm trying to do is make sure that you mean what you say and you say what you mean. Make sure that your actions are consistent with the results you want. I'm the type of person who will mention something to you once. If I see no change or adjustment, cool, I'll adjust. And then usually when I adjust, I'm happy. I'm good because I fixed the problem. The problem then becomes that you now feel some kind of way because I fixed the problem and I'm not complaining about it anymore. It's a crazy dynamic. Y'all seen people like that, right? Y'all seen people who get mad over something and then you fix whatever they were mad about, but yet they still mad? Does that make sense? Thank you, Natalie. Natalie says she agrees 100%. Sweet says, I'm tired of saying this to Scrap. You are different. Most men don't think like you. I understand that. I can't. I'm sorry. I can just tell you I'm sorry. I can't be all those men that you guys have in your lives, and I can't be everything to everybody. But again, I hold you all accountable for not bringing the men into this live to hear what they need to hear, so they can make the adjustment that they need to make. Understand that all I talk about is a cultivation of how I grew up, the men in my life, the mentors in my life, and the situations I've been through. Yes, it's fixed, Felicia. Felicia said, when you don't involve the other person, is it really fixed? Absolutely. See, it's not about fixing them. If you have the issue, fix you and see if you have that issue anymore. If you do, then it was never that thing. That was never the problem. True story. True story, sweet. I understand. True. She said it's not your fault. I'm just trying to say that we're dealing with men who are different from you. But that's because they're not exposed to men like me either. See, there's a huge difference of there's a thing that's out there. Here's the problem that we have out there is that there aren't enough men raising men, and women aren't directing these unmanageable men to men who can help direct them, who can help you out. Like that is the problem. I don't have the main stage. You know who has the main stage? The ratchet nigga, the dude who talking crazy. You know what I mean? The dude who talking, doing all this crazy stuff. He's the entertainment y'all want, right? Those are the ones who get promoted and elevated. Let me say some slick shit. I promise you. Excuse my language. Let me say something slick and crazy. Let me start jaw jacking all funny about women and all that kind of stuff. This page will go through the roof. I was gonna do a separate podcast called "I'm Surrounded by Bees." B space 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 space. I'm surrounded by bees, and of course, y'all gonna think I said I'm surrounded by bitches, but it's really saying I'm surrounded by baddies, right? And the reason why I say that is because I have throughout my life been more surrounded by women than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like I got my crew of homies and whatnot, but women are the ones who are. I know, right? You know how I like to have a play on words. Women are the ones who are typically engaging and have need the most stability. Why? Because a majority of men, like I said before on plenty podcasts, that we're very simple, we're very basic, we don't require much. There are the men who have a little more estrogen than testosterone who are the issue out here that are confusing you all and making you use your masculine energy more than you get to use your feminine energy. And that's an issue that goes back to exactly what I just said, that there are not enough men mentoring men. You understand? There are not enough men filling the void. When I was growing up, I was a part of the Big Brother Big Sister program, and I had three older brothers, and I had a crew of men that were in my neighborhood that were making sure that they were raising men. There was no question in my identity. There was no question in my role. There was no question in how I should manage myself. You know what I'm saying? In the world and in the workplace, that was not a question because I had examples. I had people who were actively in my life that were making sure that was the case. And you're right, Felicia, that more men are becoming are portraying more feminine traits. Sweet said, you are collectively conscious of what you say or do. Clearly, you was brought up differently. I have to be, right? because what I've learned, what the things that I learned was actions have consequences, and so do words. So I managed the way that I communicate with people. I don't, one of the three deadliest words I hate to hear anybody say. Three deadly words in a conversation. Can y'all guess what they are? Three words. I'm gonna give y'all an opportunity to chime in right now. This is an opportunity for y'all to engage. What three words always are the precursor to something stupid? What three words do people say to you and you be like, well, there's the problem, but you let them finish the sentence. But in the first three words they say, I be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like that's the issue. Anybody want to guess the three words? Anybody? Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. Okay, here are the three words. And I want y'all to red flag a person when they say these things to you all, so you'll know how to manage the conversation past that point. Three deadly words in a conversation that you should never let anybody get by with. I didn't think. Y'all hear it? I didn't think. They always lead to something that manages to hurt you. I didn't think you going to. I didn't think it was going. I didn't think it was. You didn't think is the first part. That's why we in this problem, because you didn't think. And I learned that very early on, that that's not a pass for you to do dumb stuff. That's not a pass for you to get away with stuff. I didn't think does not give you the right to do stupid stuff. So the minute you start off with I didn't think, I'd be like, stop right there. We don't need to talk anymore, because I don't have the opportunity or the ability to move through life not thinking. Who gets that kind of life where you can do stuff without thinking, when your mind never shuts off? It's not that you didn't think, you just didn't think about me in that equation. You didn't think it would matter to me. So I'm the one paying the price for you not thinking. Don't do me no favors. Please think. So when you say, Sweet, and you're exactly right, Sweet, when you say the statement that you made up here, you are completely conscious of what you say or do. I have to be. I'm that person that's driving in the street and saying my only responsibility right now is to drive. Why are y'all bugging out? Your only responsibility behind the wheel of a car is to drive. And if you're not thinking or doing that, then we're all in jeopardy. That's what my mindset goes to. I didn't think is not going to be, is not, and has never been acceptable in any conversation. Yet you all and I at one point would allow people to finish their statement knowing that it was already failed from the beginning when they said I didn't think. That's right. You don't have an opportunity to not think as a single parent. Let me switch this up a little bit. Um, let me switch this up right here. Yeah, let me switch this up. So I'm gonna give y'all a little more battery life right quick, because y'all be complaining about my phone going out. But that's, listen. If Sweet said, as I said, you think differently from the trash we have to deal with. Well, if you want to clean up the trash, you got to show them a better way. Like the trash ain't gonna miraculously pick itself up. You got to put people in the place to understand it. I'm here. I'm available. My conversation and my mindset and perspective doesn't change. The message might, but the perspective almost never does. Why? Because I've been through enough, and I've I've witnessed and I've shared in the conversations with people who've been through worse and more than me to help me develop into the person that I am. People do not change when they're not exposed to something different. We can't ask for people to do something that they've never done before because they've never seen it before. Like that's impossible. And the way that people are comfortable with being in the position that they've designed for themselves, it's already hard to move people. You know what I'm saying? It's already hard to get people to change when they're comfortable. These aren't the most comfortable conversations I'm having with y'all. These are really uncomfortable conversations for a lot of people. People don't want to change. What's up, Extreme? People don't want to change. Let me just say that to get people to change, it takes an act of God sometimes. People don't want to change. People have made their nest and they're comfortable. It doesn't make it right. Y'all ever hear people say, I've been doing this for so many, my first response is that don't make it right. That just means you've just been doing it a long time. That just means you're good at the uncomfortable place that you managed to create for yourself. Don't make it right. You just good now. You just good at being bad. Now, when I come along and I tell you there's another way and a better way that you can adjust your situation, now you got to get uncomfortable to do it because, like I said, you've settled in. Your couch got the indentation for where you've been sitting at for so long. When I tell you if you got to sit on another side of the couch in order for it to even out, in order for it to get better, you don't want to hear that. Most people don't want redirection. I'm sorry, they don't. And at times I can be stubborn about it as well because as you could tell, I be trying. If I go study something and break it down and I'm wrong and I need to make an adjustment, I'm down to do that. But you got to come with a you better come with a amazing case to get me to adjust. I don't think anybody likes change, right, Felicia? But you have to be open to the conversation as to why you should to determine whether it's ignorance or whether it has validity. And Natalie on TikTok says most people don't want to be told what to do. I agree. And that's why you have to have conversational awareness. You got to know who you're speaking to, why you're speaking to them in the way that you are, that may be different than the way that I have to speak to somebody else to get the results that you want. And I think what happens is, Natalie, people who aren't prepared to have the conversation are having the conversation and forget what the goal is in that conversation. The goal in the conversation is to get the adjustment that these people need. So if you keep that at the forefront of your conversation, and you got to remember that you have to be gentle with certain people, some people you got to put your hand on the back, then you can proceed with the conversation in a way where you know you are giving them the deliverables they need to accept and make the adjustment. But until you do that, you're going to run into a brick wall almost all the time. That's just it. Know your consumer. Know who you're talking to. Know what you can get. I can listen. There is a way to get whatever you want from anybody that you want when you want it. If you just remember to keep your pride out of the way and remember what your goal was in the first place. Felicia said, "This is good." Yeah. Natalie said, "You are so correct. I worked with kids over 40 years. The approach is everything." Them kids turn into adults. It's the same thing. Don't nothing change, but you end up learning the kids and you understand what works for them. Well, the only reason why a lot of us argue with other adults is because we refuse to massage the conversation in a way that will benefit everybody. You just hold your stance, they hold their stance. I know how to break that shit down in a heartbeat. You don't want to be in a conversation with me and think that we're going to walk away in a certain way, that you wanted to work away or whatever. I remember that the goal is for us both to be good. So then I challenge your stance on trying to be singular in a situation that involves both of us. A lot of times I'll challenge your selfishness with my unselfishness. I will bust it all the way down to get you to understand, look, this ain't about me, it's about us. Take me out of it. You could be mad about what I did, but know that I did it because of this for us. And if that's not enough, then we do need to look at what we're doing. You know what I mean? We do need to adjust that. Y'all got to keep your eye on the prize and know that you should be willing to release your ego, remove the pride, stubbornness, and achieve the goal. Um, I've taken that as far as even when I'm playing my video game, when I'm playing the game. I would tell them in a heartbeat, hey man, let's not go fight these other people. We have a plan. Let's adhere to the plan. You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters at that point. Anyway, I hope that you guys have enjoyed me today. I hope that uh if you have, that whether I'm online or not, that you guys contribute to the support of these conversations one way or another, whether you share it with somebody, whether you communicate that you had an amazing time hearing a conversation today, whether you if you're on YouTube and all those, if you do a super thanks, if you're on TikTok, if you gifting or whatever, any of that kind of stuff, man, I appreciate it. It shows that you appreciate my time more than anything, which is the most valuable commodity that I have. I think that's for anybody who works a job, you understand that they're paying for your time. And so when you tip me and when you give super thanks and do all those kind of things, it's just showing your appreciation for my time. And I can't, and who's gonna be who feels salty nuts about that. So I spend about a good hour and a half, 2 hours with y'all on a regular basis. Make sure that your appreciation for that time is represented in the things that you do outside of just watching me on this live. Be it the gifting is all cool or whatever, y'all can sub. And the other side of it is sharing me with other people, reposting some of the content, clipping some of the contents if you're on the YouTube channel. Just spend some social digital currency. And if you happen to want to spend some actual currency along the way, thank you so much. This episode will I may speak about this again as a recap. I probably will do that over the weekend, maybe Sunday. I'll do a recap on probably all of the pieces that we've done this week. I mean, in the recent past, because they've been some very dynamic subjects and topics to get into. Let's do that and then go from there. I appreciate y'all, and we'll speak soon. Thanks. I'm out.